Hello and welcome back to MTG Burgeoning, your channel for all things Magic. It's Friday and that means it's time for the Kitchen Table series. In today's video, deck tech number 49 of MTG Burgeoning's longest running content series, we are going to take a very close look at a mono red devil deck. What's up, MTG BC? That is the MTG Burgeoning community. It is the Kitchen Table series, and we are up to deck tech number 49. We are on the cusp of half of 100 deck techs. Wow, what a ride it has been. Today, mono red devils. All right, so as usually is customary here during the Kitchen Table series, we will begin with the installation of the land base. There's not going to be too many thrills here. We are in mono red, so we have nothing but basic mountains. However, just because they're that much fun to play, let's go with basic snow-covered mountains. And there's a lot of them here, folks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. We got 20 basic snow-covered mountains. Well, because they're just that much fun. And this is the Kitchen Table series, so of course we're going to throw in our Soul Ring. We got 20 basic lands. We've got one Soul Ring, but we are not done with our ramp yet. We are also going to go all the way back in time to MTG Burgeoning's number 2 favorite all-time set, Shadows over Innistrad, and we are going to include a full play set of a common enchantment called Vessel of Volatility. It's 1 in a red to cast, and it comes into play and just sits there on the battlefield until you're ready to tap 1 in a red and sacrifice it for 4 red mana. 4 copies of Vessel of Volatility. So we have 20 basic lands, 1 Soul Ring, and 4 copies of Vessel of Volatility. And that is going to round out the mana base for this deck. All right, we are 25 cards in with 35 cards to go. Now, we said mono red devils, so let's start talking about some devils. The first play set of devils we're going to include is Footlight Fiend. It's got a Rakdos mana symbol of black or red. For the purposes of this deck, of course, it will just be a red mana. It's a 1/1 devil, and when it dies, it deals 1 damage to any target. 4 copies of Footlight Fiend. We cannot and will not have any kind of devil deck without the devil himself, T-Balt's Rakish Instigator. No original T-Balt. We're going to go with War of the Spark T-Balt here. It's a Planeswalker for 2 in a red, comes down with 5 loyalty counters. Our opponents can't gain life, and we can take 2 loyalty counters off of T-Balt to create a 1/1 red devil creature token. And this creature has, when it dies, it deals 1 damage to any target. Very similar to what Footlight Fiend is, except in token form. 4 copies of T-Balt, because we can't play with 40. Next card up, we are going to turn our attention away from a creature spell and away from a legendary planeswalker spell to a sorcery spell called Devil's Playground. 4 and 2 red to create 4 1/1 red devil creature tokens that have, when this creature dies, it deals 1 damage to target creature or player. 4 copies of Devil's Playground. And that is going to be how we get our devils into play. Now, we need to do something with these devils when they get into play, and one of the best things that we can do with them is to take advantage of when they enter the battlefield. Enter a full playset of Impact Tremors. 1 in a red, enchantment. Whenever a creature enters a battlefield under our control, it deals 1 damage to each opponent. 4 copies of Impact Tremors. Now, once these devils are on the battlefield, we're going to want to try to attack with them, of course, because, well, that's just what those devil guys want to do. So, let's include a playset of Cavalcade of Calamity. Another enchantment for 1 in a red. Whenever a creature we control with power 1 or less attacks, Cavalcade of Calamity deals 1 damage to the player or planeswalker that creature is attacking. Our devils are 1/1. So this will trigger each time one of those babies attacks. 4 copies of Cavalcade of Calamity. All right, so now we're getting to the point in the deck where we're really going to, all puns intended, get a little fiendishly devilish here. So we have all of our devils that when they die, they deal a point of damage to any target. When they enter the battlefield, they do a point of damage to each opponent. And when they attack, they deal a point of damage to defending player or planeswalker that we're attacking. Let's do some things with our devils to make that damage seem, I don't know, a little more potent. Enter 1 full playset of Torbrand, Thane of Redfell. 1 and triple red, which of course is not going to be a problem for us because we are a mono red deck. It's a 2/4 legendary dwarf noble that reads, if a red source we control would deal damage to an opponent or a permanent an opponent controls, it deals that much damage +2 instead. So with Torbrand in play, our devils are dying and dealing 3 points to any target. How would you like to have a devil die and then cast a lightning bolt? How about when a devil comes into play and deals 3 damage to each opponent with Torbrand in play? Or when Cavalcade of Calamity triggers, it's dealing 3 damage each time if we have Torbrand in play. 4 copies of the Thane of Redfell. And we are not done increasing the amount of damage that our devils can do. Going back to War of the Spark, enter a full playset of Jaya, Venerated Fire Mage. 4 in a red, 5 loyalty counters. If another red source we control would deal damage to a permanent or player, it deals that much damage +1 to that permanent or player instead. So this does half of what Torbrand does at a little higher the cost. However, with her -2 ability, we can have Jaya deal 2 damage to any target. So if we are fortunate enough to have Torbrand in play, when we also have a Jaya activation, well, we're taking off 2 counters to deal 4 to any target. 4 copies of Jaya, Venerated Fire Mage. All right, and this is it. These are the last 4 cards of this deck tech. There's not a lot of variability here. We've got full playsets of nearly every single card in the set outside of Soul Ring. The last 4 cards is going to be a full playset of Ember Maw Hellion. 3 and 2 red for a 4/5 Trampling Hellion. If another red source we control would deal damage to a permanent or player, it deals that much damage +1 to that permanent or player instead. We're getting a lot of redundancy here now because we want to perfectly try to curve from Torbrand into either Jaya or the Ember Maw Hellion in order to have all of our devils deal a ridiculous amount of damage. So just for the purposes of clarity, let's say we have a Torbrand in play, we have a Jaya in play, and we have an Ember Maw Hellion in play. Well, now if we send a fleet of devils off to attack, each one of those 1/1 devils is going to trigger the Cavalcade of Calamity, and that is going to deal 5 points of damage. 1 point from the original devil, an extra 2 from Torbrand, an extra 1 from Jaya, and an extra 1 from the Ember Maw Hellion. And if those devils should happen to die, guess what? It's also going to deal 5 points of damage. 1 from the original death of the devil, 2 from Torbrand, 1 from Jaya, and 1 from the Ember Maw Hellion. And if we also have Impact Tremors in play, well, you could see very quickly how this deck is going to spiral out of control. It's going to give our opponents fits. Do you kill the creature? Do you take damage from the creature? Do you block the creature and see your opponent's creatures sent to the graveyard as we get stronger and stronger? Particularly with the Vessel of Volatility, we also have the ability to ramp out ahead of our opponents in a mono-red deck. And that's it, folks. MTG BC. This is the Kitchen Table Series, Deck Tech number 49, Mono Red Devils. Let me know what you think about this deck in the comment section below. This is MTG Burgeoning, your channel for all things Magic.